And I played one of the children, one of the Siamese children. That was my first professional experience. I got paid for it. That was a big deal.
But Carousel.
Carousel, I did twice. I did once in Dallas in the chorus, and then when I did the show in New York, I played Louise, the girl in the ballet.
Finney's Rainbow. I know what you played.
Susan the Silent.
Susan. Because I did Og once.
I'm sure you were good in that.
I was fun. I was only a little kid. I loved it. Did you enjoy doing Finian's?
Musicals? Finian's, yes, I did.
Where'd you do that?
At New York City Center.
But you got some awards. Lots of awards from there. What was it? Canterbury Tales?
Yeah.
Tell me about Canterbury Tales.
Canterbury is my
your first Broadway?
First Broadway show. And I got a Tony nomination and a Dramalogue and an Outer Critics Circle, all the thing. But the thing's funny, I had a dream, and I went in and told the people in the dressing room the night before the Tony Awards, and so it's on record with my friends that I shared the dressing room with.
Right.
I said, I had this dream that Bobby Morse walked on stage and said, I'm very sorry, Sandy, you didn't get it. It goes to Marion Mercer. When we get to the theater, and I sit down, and I open the program, and I was married at that time to a singer, dancer, actor, Bruce, and I turned to him and I went, Bobby Morse is presenting my category. He went, no. I said, yes. Well, he didn't apologize to me, but Marion Mercer did win, so half of the dream was true.
Robert Morris, what a great talent. Did you see True?
About 6 times. I was kind of like a groupie for that show. I was
me
embarrassed.
too.
Did you see it a lot?
Yeah, I love him.
It was wonderful.
I know Robert very well, and I think I'm so happy that his career just lifted up again.
Yeah.
Boyfriend. Tell me about Boyfriend. New York Desk Award.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
Yeah, it's a wonderful show.
Tell me about the show. How did you get that show?
I begged.
Come on.
My manager at the time, Gus Shermer, that's a name you probably know. Well, he was directing it, and I'd gotten another show downtown, some off-Broadway thing, and I said, I really want to do this show. He said, oh, you don't want to do this. You're not playing the. I said, I really want to do Maisie. And I honestly begged and got into the show, and from that point on, my career I got the film from it. I got the television series. It kind of just
It
took
seems
off.
like Sandy Duncan just went from Texas to New York at 19. It was easy. It seemed like it was easy, but I bet it wasn't. Was it easy? Come on, Sandy.
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
So you had a good time, easy time about it.
Yeah.
So you were lucky.
I
Is
was
that the word luck?
very,
Timing
very-
and luck?
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of performers hang around New York.
I
They
know.
didn't get their breaks. It takes time.
Well, it's taken. I don't know. I
What
always.
do you think it was for you that it was so easy?
I think flexibility, for one thing. I was able to sing, dance, and act, so I was able to always get a job, even in industrial shows. I'd sing and dance about typewriters and brassieres or whatever they want. So I was able to be employed and earn a living. My hard part, I think, career-wise, is right now trying to make a transition from the persona and what people know and expect of me to elevate myself to the age that I am and to the kinds of roles I'd like to do and not keep repeating myself, which is a choice I've made not to do ever. So I can't.
You don't look backwards.
I
You always-
cannot, and I can't show up on another sitcom chopping and peeling and being perky. I just can't,
But you made a good living.
Absolutely.
At good living. Sandy, no
Absolutely.
complaints about it. You made a
None.
good living.
And I
at
love the
wheat.
work.
Look at the commercial, the wheat.
I just did one this week, and my boys are on it.
Are
my
they?
2 kids.
You have
yeah.
2 kids.
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
2 boys, 9 and 10. And
Married to a dancer.
Yes, I am. Who's now in real estate. He got out of dance. He got out of show business when we came out here. Isn't that sad?
Good dancer.
He's
Don.
Korea.
Korea. Good
An incredible dancer. But
You did a lot of shows with him.
Yeah, we met in '71. We did a lot of. Remember the variety shows that used to be on all the time?
Yes.
We did lots of those together. And then he was in Chorus Line. I was doing Peter Pan. We got married. He did 5 or 6 more Broadway shows. The last thing he did was Sing in the Rain. He did the Gene Kelly role
Right,
on
right.
Broadway. And we moved it here right after that. We'd just done My One and Only together and so forth. He took a look and he said, there are a lot of actors out here. And he said, making that transition from singer-dancer to actor in television, he said, it's just not going to happen quickly. And I've got family support, and I have, he likes to be active. So he got into real estate. And we know how successful that is right now.
Right, it certainly is. No, it isn't now.
Real estate is
Really? Is
the
it bad
pits
right now?
Yeah.
Everyone become actors, agents, or real estaters in California.
That's right.
But you, New York, you came to California, you got your series, Sandy Duncan special you were on.
Lots of
You had several shows.
Yeah.
The other show was, you had 2 specials.
Sandy Disneyland I had.
Tell me about the Disneyland, because it's so...
Well, that's where Don and I met, so that's kind of a special
Is that
show.
where you met?
Yeah, he was in the chorus of the show. one of the guys who lifted me. And we became friends from that and continued to do a lot of dancing together. They'd always say, let's get Don Correa to partner you. And I was married at the time. I didn't think, I just thought, oh, he's cute. And about 10 years later, I was putting together a nightclub act, and I'd separated from my husband. And I thought, gee, what if we can get that Don Correa to do my nightclub act? So the choreographer said, great idea, and we got him. And in rehearsal, I thought, yeah, he is real cute. So we got married. It's been almost 15 years.
You were married to a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
First.
Not,
You've had some tough times.
well, personally, yeah. I mean, as smooth as that career went in the beginning, yeah.
You've had some tough times.
Yeah.
How's Sandy's handling that? You handle it strong. You're a strong lady.
Yeah.
You're not just a little perky girl.
No, I'm not
Lot of-
frail.
Yeah, people a lot of thinks, you're a little perky, frail.
No.
You're a very strong lady.
And very earthy and very down to earth and very simple and
I like that word, simple.
very.
That's nice. Children, how about them? You
Well, we were
spend a lot
talking
of time
before.
with
I spent an enormous amount of time with them, and I'm kind of grateful for this little fallow period in my career because it's given me so much time to be with, and so fleeting, Skip. I mean, they're with you this. I already see them. They were this big, and now they're. It's heartbreaking because I know pretty soon they're going to be start outward, looking away.
What stands out in your mind as a child growing up in Texas that...
Well, it was
You
my
have two
happy,
children.
happy time,
Was
and
it-
I used to go down to my grandmother's. Darlin, I called her, and Jeff was my grandfather. And I'd wander in the woods. Those are the days you could do that, you see.
Yeah, can't do it now.
I'd
Those were-
wander. My imagination was just fertile because I was left alone for hours. I'd go into the woods by myself and go down to the railroad track, go down to the... It was a very private time,
You worry about your children today?
of course.
What's happening out there?
I'm not a paranoid person by
Right.
nature. I think things happen for a reason. Life is what it is. It's at best a crapshoot.
Right.
So I'm not paranoid unnecessarily so. I'm just cautious and careful and street smart.
Street smart, but you worry about a lot of children out there. You love children,
I love
Sandy
children.
does. You devote a lot of time to you. Matter of fact, you did a video for children. Didn't
I've
you?
done, a lot of the things
Several.
I've done. Yeah, I've done several videos for children. Peter Pan certainly was,
Yeah.
it's for everybody, but it's certainly for the child in us. I like children because they're honest and they're not fickle. If you can get them when they're little, you got them for life. Is the truth. You know that as a
Of
performer.
course,
So, I
of
mean,
course.
now I did the Barney in the Backyard Gang, the original tapes of that. It's just turned into this
Great.
explosion.
Yes. Peter Pan. Enjoy doing the show?
Not as much as I should have. I really
Whoops,
regret that.
What do you mean by
I did
that?
it for 3 years, and it was an extremely difficult show. I did like 1,000 performances, and I didn't have kids then, so I didn't really realize how important it was to the kids who came.
Right.
I just I knew it was important, but it wasn't. I didn't have the same perspective as a mother would have going, this is incredible to be able to introduce theater to children. And it was so difficult that I bitched a lot, which I wouldn't
you
do
really?
now. Well, my back hurt, and I whined a lot.
Were you that way your beginning of your... Do you think, Sandy?
I don't mean whined in a
No.
serious way, but I mean I just didn't relish it as much as I should have in hindsight. We're not as appreciative when we're young, are we?
Flying across.
Incredible.
Were you afraid sometimes at the beginning?
No.
You were never afraid?
No.
It was very secure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I got to the point where I'd say, guys, fly me into the wings so I could push off the light poles and completely disappear. I got to be quite a daredevil with that flying.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Looking back over your career, Sandy, you've had a good time then. You've had a good time. Did you turn to any parts that you regret later? Anything down that you regretted?
No, because I really basically have the philosophy that everything's perfect. I really believe that.
Is that your philosophy in life? Everything's perfect?
Yeah.
Turning the news.
It's
Do you
Skip,
turn on the news?
I do.
How do you handle it? I get scared, Sandy. I don't want to listen to that news out there.
I know.
How do you handle it? You say everything's perfect out there.
Because I think things are, and I don't have the answer. It's just, well, it's going to be, a group guess here about
Right.
what life's about anyway.
Right.
I think things happen for reasons that if we knew, we'd be flying around out there somewhere. You know,
Right.
I just believe there's some order to all this. If not, I'm going to be real ticked off. Once when we leave this life, if we don't get to some other plane and get some answers for all this, it's going to be some terrible trick that's been played on us.
That's right.
And I don't believe that. I believe that there is an order and there is something going on that we don't understand.
I bet you had a good time with Danny Kaye doing Pinocchio.
Sure, he got to be one of my best friends.
Pinocchio. God, tell me about Pinocchio, Danny Kaye and Sandy Duncan.
Well, Pinocchio was the least of that relationship. He was a wonderful friend and a mentor, but during the filming of the show, we got to know each other, and I broke my nose during, of all things to break. When we were filming 3 o'clock one morning, and the nose was out to here, when the nose was long.
Yes.
And I went off camera, I was supposed to run off and say, Papa, I'm coming back, or whatever I was doing. So I went off and I turned, and the end of this nose hit the camera because it was dark, we were exhausted, it was 3 in the morning, and my nose went, ah! And so I finished the rest of the I guess another 2 weeks of shooting, gluing this thing on this broken nose. It wasn't the most pleasant memory.
What kind of guy was Danny Kaye? I just
He
loved
was
him.
very unbelievably creative, a free soul, loyal, devoted, loved people he loved,
He did,
couldn't
yeah.
put up people he didn't put up. I mean, he was a very clear and honest person.
He helped a lot of people out there in this world.
He sure did.
Traveled all over the globe.
Yeah.
Sandy Duncan, you went to the Radio City Music Hall. Tell me about the music hall trip. Come on, honey. I love that one.
It was big.
It was big, wasn't
My husband and I did a show there.
Yeah.
Ron Field created for us, and we spent 3 months doing 2 shows a day, 3 months pregnant.
What's 5, 6, 7, 8?
Dance.
Is that dance?
It's like 5, 6, 7, 8,
dance. Yeah, yeah. Is that the show? That was the title of the show?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Did you have a good time on that big stage?
I had a great time. It was when I had to go off to the little buckets in the wings and go because of being pregnant, but it was fun.
Tommy Toon and Sandy Duncan and Don, your husband, good friends.
Tommy was my first dance partner
He was.
in Texas.
In Texas. In Texas?
Yeah.
What show was that?
We just did shows.
Did
We
a
used to
show?
dance in the flatbeds of trucks.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we would dance anywhere. He was going to college at a school I went to finally, Lon Mars. It was about half hour from my town, and we shared the same dance teacher, and we danced all over the place. And we didn't get back together again until my one and only.
So Sandy Duncan prepared herself before she went to New York. A lot of kids
yeah.
out there think you just get out there and become
no,
a star overnight.
Well, I guess
Sandy.
some people, though, they don't become a star
you just,
overnight,
You know,
ever.
you really studied and you worked
Oh, yeah.
before you went to New York, didn't
Absolutely.
you, Sandy?
For years.
What kind of guy is Tommy Toon? He's so tall and so light feathery.
Yeah,
so
he's
wonderful.
elegant. He's an elegant man. He, I guess he's like the foremost producer of musical comedy these days. If there is a I don't know, a leader in that area, it must be Tommy, I'm sure. There's nobody who comes close.
The Muffet Show. You were the very first guest on the Muffet Show.
Kids again, huh?
Kids
There's
again.
a
Here we go
theme
back
here.
again with kids. Yeah, it's always with children. I like that though, Sandy. We don't have enough of it.
No.
Kids again.
No.
Because today I just read in the paper that in Washington they're going to cut the violence of the movies, of the
Right.
TV.
Right.
Bravo. We need a little kids, more loving, more simple things in life. Tell me about the Muppet Show. You enjoy doing that? Tell me about that.
Well,
I think it's a great show.
they're legendary, and it was great because you know what? It wasn't saccharine. There was an edge to it, and because kids have a very good sense of humor, they really do if
They
given
do.
half a chance. And they also have, like, I've taken my kids to theater, not just children, theater since they were tiny bits.
You do take
They
them.
were
Good.
backstage during all of our shows. You know, they had cues and everything.
Do they want to get in the business?
I don't know.
That's
They're-
good.
they're
You wouldn't force them.
No, either way. It's, you know, it's their. I support them whatever they do and expose them to as much as I possibly can, so they're making an educated choice. But I figure I don't keep them separate from it. It's what I do for a living. Like my dad ran a gas station, and I go down and hand out bubble gum to the customers.
Great.
So by being around there, knew I don't think I want to run a gas station. So hopefully my kids will make up their mind with a clear view of what it is to be in show business. It's not just the limousines picking you up, mommy waving goodbye. They
Right.
go and they see me work. They watch us rehearse, so they understand
It's
the
work.
It's
work out there.
Fun, but it's work.
Yeah. It is fun
It is.
because you love it.
Yeah.
That's the word, fun, because you love it. Peter Fonda, and you did a show with him, Love Letters, and
This past
Perry
year.
King,
Yes.
both of them.
Uh-huh.
Tell me, that was at Cannon Theater?
Yeah.
On Beverly?
Yeah. Almost everybody in town did it at one point or other, I think.
May I ask why Perry King and Sandy Duncan or Peter Fonda?
They
Did
would-
you pick? They
No.
picked it?
Oh, yeah, they put the combinations
Oh, did
together.
they really?
Mhm.
Interesting combination.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. In fact, I'm doing it this summer in New Hampshire with Donna Mendolia.
Okay.
you ever been to that theater? I've never been to it. It sounds
No.
like what you and I want to do, Skip. There's this man, Roy Rosen. He owns a theater. I forget the name of it. It's I don't know, the repertory something. But it's this little 300-seat theater. They do a year-round season, and people get to come and perform and do what they want.
Oh, I think it's great.
Isn't that wonderful?
Sounds great. Have you ever done Don DeLuise's thing in Texas? I mean, in Florida?
In Florida, I've been asked to, and it's never been at a time when I can do it.
Uh-huh.
Is he still
Do you
doing
do a lot of game? Yes, it is. Do you do a lot of game shows?
No.
You don't do game
No,
shows.
I did back in the 70s. That was a big deal to do, like Hollywood Squares and the Pyramid and stuff.
Right, right. You do a lot of television. You came to this TV, the wheat thing. How did you get that? The Nabisco
Wheat Thins?
Thin? Yeah. How did Sandy Duncan?
I was doing Funny Face,
Right.
the first television series.
That's a good show. Sandy, forgive me. I
What?
forgot about that.
Did you?
Oh,
Years
I
ago.
adore that show. That
It only
was
ran
great.
for 13 weeks.
Oh, but I loved it. I
Good.
thought it was great.
Great.
Funny Face. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, that's how I got it. They needed a spokesperson. So that means I've been, that's 22 years I've been doing those commercials. Yikes!
Have you really?
Yeah, since 1971.
Your two kids are Michael and Jeffrey?
Mhm.
That's nice.
Different as night and day.
Is he? What do you mean?
Both of them. Well, one, the older one, is very much the first child, and opinionated, and thinks he wants at this point in time to be a judge, which, given his personality, might be a good idea. But he's very observant. He's very sensitive and loves people, and and Mikey is like this little kind of, just the opposite. He's like a little athlete who. Everything is in the moment, of the moment. He has no memory whatsoever. If I leave the room and walk back in, he'll go, "Hi, Mom." And they're both very smart in school, luckily, so I don't have that headache of do your homework. And they try lots of things, like they're doing a Shakespeare class this summer, and
sweet.
they're doing a tennis, little golf. They do a lot of stuff, which I think is terrific.
You're a very family-oriented.
Almost to a fault, I guess.
You don't go to cabarets and clubs out. And Sandy Duncan's a Hollywood lady, but she doesn't go out to cabarets and just takes care of her family, right?
Yep.
What's been the highest point or moment in your career? What has been, Sandy? Would you think?
I would think it hasn't happened yet. That's what
hasn't?
I'd like to think, yeah. Because there's so many moments that I loved and enjoyed that I just like to think that you just sort of, that's what you are finally. There's nothing that comes that makes you a star. It's a
Right.
journey you go on, don't you think? It's just sort of...
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned in life?
Um,
Because you've been through a lot a few years ago,
I think
you know.
the biggest thing I've learned is that this can all be taken away at the drop of a hat, so you better
So you have
treasure
learned
and
that.
relish it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very tentative. So you have to really try and take pleasure in as many moments as you possibly can. I know that's a very easy thing to say, but
Philosophy in life is what, Sandy?
do your best.
Do your best.
Yes, just do your best.
What's Sandy Duncan doing right now? You're in town. You're living here. What's coming up for Sandy right now?
I have no idea. There are two.
I like that. Isn't that great?
Not
You
a-
don't look back. You're just looking forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just trying to look at the choices that are put before me and decide if it really will be worth leaving my kids. I don't mean leave it because I don't do that. I can't, Skip. I don't know what that is. I can't take a job that goes away for more than a week. I can't.
You can't
do
leave
it.
your children.
I can't.
Your kids are what age?
9 and 10.
9 and 10. That's a
Pretty
great
soon they'll
age.
be wanting me to leave, so I'm taking advantage of this.
So you're basically a home lady taking care of your children right now.
'Cause
That
we-
is the most important thing.
It is.
Yes.
We moved out here because of them, actually. It was getting kind of hard to have two kids in the middle of Manhattan, and I came out to do a series because the theater you couldn't really support yourself in the theater there unless you travel a lot. You have to do a lot of touring
Right.
before a show even comes into New York these days because of the money being what it is. So we moved out here. We kind of have gotten, stuck's not a nice word to say, but it was never my intention to come out here and stay here. But now they're in school, they have their activities, and
friends.
here we are.
Right.
My idea was to come out, do that job, and go back to New York. And at some point we will. I'm sure of it.
Love New York.
I do.
It's Manhattan is the place where
It's where you do theater.
that's where you do theater
Yeah.
because Sandy Duncan is theater. Because basically You've done a few movies. You've done the duck thing. What was that one? Tell me
yeah.
about that $1 million duck.
It was a good little movie. It was a Disney film. It was my first film, and I see it on reruns every now and then. I'm
It's
not
cute.
ashamed of it.
No, it's cute. It's cute.
Yeah.
You're not ashamed of any of your stuff, are you? No, you shouldn't be, because it's just adorable. Sandy Duncan is...
I'll tell you something. This is a lesson I learned just recently. I was kind of, not ashamed, that's the wrong word, but I was kind of like embarrassed, this Barney thing. I thought, oh, geez, these...
Because children and all that.
Well, no, not that. Because it was kind of done real fast, and the quality was not really upscale, and it looked a little naive. So when I looked at it, I thought, nobody will ever see this. I'm sure they want it. I did it during the writer's strike. Well, as it turns out, as we said, it's become this huge explosion. So I sort of put it down. People come to me and go, we look at your face every night. And I go, Barney, they'll grow out of it. Really, they will. But something happened. I ran into a little child who had some learning disability, severe, almost some autism, I don't know what. And the child that didn't really communicate, but I came into a room, a friend's house, and she went, I love you, do the me. And the parents were just, because she made a breakthrough. That's what I sing on the tape. I love you, you love it. And so I stopped putting it down. You never know what level you're reaching who on.
See, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it brought a tear to our eyes.
You help a lot of children out there.
Just in doing. I don't do it intentionally. I don't. It's just, as you've reflected on all the things because I don't sit and go over my credits. That's not what I.
No.
But I'm thinking a lot of it has been for kids. There's something joyful about and an innocent
so
about.
So Sandy
children.
Duncan is a joyful person. Seems like you are joyful.
My best self is joyful, and I reach my best self when I'm on stage. It's very it's almost religious at moments. I mean, because and I'm not a religious person, but
You're
I believe
spiritual, though.
I am. I'm very spiritual.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah. Growing up back in Texas,
In the Bible
Daddy,
Belt.
yeah, the Bible Belt, Daddy and Mommy and encouraged you. They must have, because they sent you to dance classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Your daddy,
My dad.
Yeah.
Very proud of me.
big proud. Yes.
Very. Yeah. And my mother supported me. Made all my dance costumes. They were. I don't think I was pushed. Maybe I was, but I don't think I was. And if I was, and so what? It turned out
So,
well.
hey, absolutely.
And they were doing the best they could do.
Voice lessons in Texas? Did you study?
Yeah, but I didn't become very good at singing until I got over. You know the things that people will put into your mind. Well, dancers don't sing is what we
Right,
know. Dancers
absolutely.
don't sing. Dancers don't sing. So in the chorus they'd sing, dancers just mouth it. Don't. So
Right.
I had trouble until I did my nightclub act and then Peter Pan, and I started to go, well, now wait a minute, dancers
Hey,
can sing.
Sing, of course.
Of course they can.
Theater. And theater, films, TV. Sandy Duncan's love is the theater, though.
It is.
It really is.
Because there are people out there in the theater. I love people.
You did love people.
And out there you can communicate with them. It's direct. There's nobody editing you. It's between you and the audience. It's a dialogue.
You do voiceovers, too. A lot of voiceovers.
Because I have an odd voice. I think there's a man on public access that makes fun of me that teaches people how to speak, and because I have a very odd voice. It's kind of almost a cartoon voice, so I get a lot of cartoons as a result of
You
that.
do get a lot of cartoons. Robert Morris does, too. Don DeLuise, Rip Taylor, they all do it.
Yeah, because it's an unusual, yeah.
Great.
What did I just do? I did something so much fun. Oh, this is a new feature coming out, Swan Lake. And I got to do, I went in, I looked at the gels, which is what you look at, and I went, oh, yes, I can do that. So I went into the thing, and I said, do you want, what kind of quality for the ingenue's voice? And they went, no, we brought you in to play the old lady, the queen. I went, excuse me? So I had to invent a voice, and I did it, and I thought, I'll never get this thing. Well, 4 months later, they called, and they said, you got it. I said, well, I'm going to have to listen to that tape, because I don't know what I did on that. There's some sort of, I don't know. What is it?
Sandy Duncan got an award. Roots. Come on, let's go back.
Roots.
Roots. You played from young girl
Right.
to an old person.
Everybody did in that thing, didn't
Yeah,
they?
but you were wonderful. You got an award. You were nominated.
Yeah, for an Emmy.
An Emmy. Tell me about that. The Roots. Why would Sandy? That's a great experience.
It was wonderful. It was short because
When
my
they
role
when they
was,
offered it to you,
Uh-huh.
did you say yes right away, or just
I
say
did.
you did?
Yes, I remember. I didn't even read for it. I went and met this man, and he explained the character of Missy Ann, and
Missy Ann, right?
and just in talking to him, he said, "You can do this. Be at work next week." I went, "Oh, good," because it was a kind of an unusual thing to get, from a sitcom. It's, they don't really think of you in anything but what they're seeing you in at the moment.
Right.
So I was very
But
proud
the
to have gotten
acting
it.
was superb.
She was a mean little thing.
Yes, she was. She was great. You were wonderful in that.
Thank you.
Tell me, there aren't things that yet come for Sandy Duncan. There's right there. They're looking back. Something is going to happen.
Yeah, there are 2 Broadway shows that are being written, and they're the first I've been excited about in a long time.
You want to go
Hopefully
back to Broadway?
I would, for a year. We could rent the house out, take the kids back, put them in school for 1 year, be a good experience for them, and see how it goes.
Girl from Texas, a book. Everybody's writing a book, Sandy. You've had an interesting life.
I
You've
had a
had some
story.
hard knocks. You know,
Yeah.
you've had some. I don't want to bring it up, honey. You had some tough times.
Well,
know?
yes.
And you went through it. A book. You're helping people. You're helping children out there too. You help the AIDS thing. You're
Very active in that.
you're
Have
very
to be.
active.
There's no choice.
everyone in Hollywood is. Tell me why. It's because we have to. Go ahead.
You tell me, and I'll tell you what I think. What do you think?
Well, because we have the media. That's what I think.
And
And-
by and large, don't you think it's
Everyone's
a sensitive?
It's sensitive, of course. Most of the people in the industry are.
Most are.
Yeah, and so we're trying to express ourselves to it. So is that the thing that everyone is doing, the AIDS thing?
Yes, I think that first of all, we're all losing a lot of our friends prematurely, and I think that finally this city has gotten together and understood, or this occupation, actors and people involved in show business, and we realize that what nobody else seems to be getting yet, that it's not secular. It's going to be everywhere.
Everywhere. It's not
Teenagers,
just-
I speak to teenagers. They don't understand.
Yeah, teenagers out there, right?
Nobody's getting how deep this problem's going.
Sandy, you're very concerned, and that's lovely. Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming today. I've really enjoyed talking
Thank
to you. You're a darling lady.
Thanks.
Very, very concerned lady, too. Thank you very much.